If you're somebody like me, you're somebody who wants to be successful and you want to actually see change in your life, but you watch all the weird dudes that like shave their heads inside of some closet that they record out of, and people just don't really give the real substance on how to change lives, or at least none of it's actually changed your life yet. And so in this video, I'm going to be talking about how to actually transform your life in the next 3 months. And it's going to change so quick that it feels illegal, or it feels like you did something weird. And you're going to know that it's going to make change inside of this video because you're not going to see the world different. Immediately after watching this video, you're going to see things differently. You're going to see more color. You're going to see the world in a completely different light than you've never seen it before. And I know these are bold claims, but if you actually listen, if you turn off everything, if you turn off TikTok, Instagram, put your phone on Do Not Disturb, turn off all the notifications and focus on this video, I can guarantee that. Now, if you're distracted while you're doing this, or you don't actually listen to me, you don't take it to heart, and if you're like multitasking while you're listening to this, then you're not going to see any change whatsoever. Because what change requires is, and the first basis of it, is focus. If you are unfocused, if you are not intentional, then you won't see any change whatsoever. You will not see any change at all. And if that's what you're seeking, if you're looking for something new, then you need to listen up. Okay, so the first thing is understanding that you, yes, you watching this video, are a human. I know it sounds kind of corny. You're like, what are you, some scientist or something like that? But it's understanding that you watching this video are a human being. And so what that means is you have your primitive instincts, essentially. So your brain still is 99.99% the same as when we were hunter and gatherers. So when we were like, tribal people living off the land, we didn't have, beautiful houses and machinery and cars and the technology that we have today. But in fact, it's understanding that you are no longer that. And instead, that you're in a modern world. And so once you know that you're ultimately a human, then everything gets easier, because you can realize everything that you're experiencing is a biological experience. And once you can detach yourself from yourself, your soul, and like who you are and the things you value and the person that you want to become and your desires and your legacy that you yourself want to develop, from this other version of you that's just like, needs to eat food, that needs to have needs to have socially accepted, and isn't want to die, you can separate the two things, okay? And that is the first instance of realizing that there is a separation. Because I have a belief that I am no different than a homeless person doing crack on the side of the street. Me, somebody who's been able to make millions of dollars a year, is no different ultimately at the end of the day, which means I am also no different than a billionaire. I'm also no different than, besides some genetic differences, than most athletes, in the fact of like a mindset. Like mentally, I can be the same as these other people. I am no different than a Spartan warrior. I am no different from a philosopher. I am no different from anybody in life. And so the first epiphany you have to realize is that you yourself are no different than anything else in this, any other person in this world. And so what that does for your psyche is allows you to realize that we're all the same. It's like you ever go on a walk in nature and you just feel like you're just a part of nature. You're one with nature, and everything is everything, and everything is nothing at the same time. And while that might send you down like a weird spiral right there, that's the point of this video. Is we are trying to encourage change. If you feel yourself drifting off in this video and you feel like your brain's going back to needing lots of dopamine, well, there you go. That right there is a biochemical response. So your brain is so used to dopamine that it needs more stimulus. And in order for it to have more stimulus, then it can actually change. And so once you can realize that, and again, what we just did is shifted your intention back into this video, back into where we are here. And then from this video, we're going to shift your intention into you actually becoming the person that you want. And again, this kind of sounds a little bit corny in some ways, but what all do you have? You've watched all of the videos, you've watched all the NoFap, and you've watched all these, again, bald dudes in their mom's basement recording videos, and you're still living the same life that you are now. Or you've watched, a bunch of Alex Hormozi, and you don't have a $10 million a year business. So it all starts from intention. Who it is that you want to become. I'll give you some game like immediately, and this is like one of your homework assignments from this video. Maybe you want to write it down, or you want to make a mental note at the minimum, is you want to study what is known as the hero's journey. And you want to study thousands of hero's journeys. So the hero's journey was a concept that was created by Joseph Campbell. He was a famous writer. And ultimately what the hero's journey is, all you need to know is it's the transformation of a person going through an unknown world and then coming back to the known world. So it's the process of change. Every single movie has it. Every single billionaire that you've ever seen has their own hero's journey. Every person in history and every human at the end of the day has their own hero's journey. And the first step, like after this video, maybe if you want, go look into hero's journey. This is one of the things in the past year. Now that I was able to get to where I was making 6 figures a month, I wanted to get to where I was making $1 million a month. And I realized the one thing that was holding me back was stories. And as I've studied stories, the more I've realized this is literally just how I became successful in the first place. And this is how I'm going to keep becoming successful, is stories. And so the first part of a hero's journey is a call to adventure. So there is always something that's calling you to adventure. And you yourself in this video are being right now called to adventure. Maybe you have been called in the past. Maybe you've had callings that you've ran into in the past, and then you didn't accept the calling, which is the next step in the hero's journey, which is the refusal of the call. So most people, they'll have a call to adventure, and then they resist it, they walk away from it. And then they meet some sort of mentor, they have something that happens that makes them accept the call to adventure. And so I hope to be that inside of this video for you guys, is knowing that the next step is the acceptance of the journey. Usually we get called into it in different stages, but we don't accept it. But then there's something that's creeping into our mind. And all know exactly what I'm talking about, because I've felt this many times. I've led many people through lots of success, and this is the exact same process that they've felt. And we always talk about it. They're like, yeah, there's a point where I didn't want it. I felt lots of resistance, and then it was a decision at the end of the day. So it's making a decision to accept the journey. And so you right here watching this video, as corny as this may sound, I need you to say that you accept the journey. You accept the person that you want to become. Because otherwise, if you never accept it, nothing is ever going to change. You're going to keep living the same life over and over and over again. And so now you watching this video, you're like, what is this guy? Does this guy have a course to sell? Like, what is going on here? Like, this is kind of weird. And what I will tell you is this channel that you guys are watching, I take off all the links on everything for the most part, unless I have like maybe a live training that I've coming up or something like that. But inside of here, I just purely want you guys to change your lives. I've been making videos on this channel for about a year now, and I've been seeing so many comments. Devin, you changed my life. Devin, you were like the huge catalyst to me making $10,000 a month. I was watching your videos and then my life changed. And after seeing all those comments, I wanted to make as many videos as I can and make them as quality as I can and actually help as many people change their lives as possible. And I want to hit 100,000 subscribers on this channel. So whatever I can do for the journey of helping people, and the way I measure it is through subscribers. And so the next part, and we'll fix the lighting here just a little bit on this video. Okay, that was a little bit extreme. Let's see. Okay, but anyways, so once you accept the call to adventure, that you yourself are going to do something different, the next stage that comes next is the obstacle. Immediately, as soon as you accept the challenge, you have an obstacle that you bump into. And it's usually in the form of resistance. It's usually in the form of you wanting to go back to your old self. But now that you've accepted the challenge, you see the world in a different color. You see it in like this rose lens that you never saw before. You see more color in the world. You see opportunity in a different light. And then this is where most people's dreams go to die. They accept the challenge, and then they don't fully accept it. They say they do, they go do the thing, and then they're kind of just dipping their toes in the water. They never committed to go all in. And I will tell you, when I was having the most amount of trouble in my life, and it felt like months would go by, and I wasn't having any results whatsoever, nothing was changing. To tell you the truth, reflecting back on those moments, is I never fully accepted the journey. I never fully accepted the adventure. I never fully decided that this is the person I'm becoming. Because when you decide, you ultimately burn all the boats. Now, I'm not saying you got to quit your job, drop out of college, all that stuff like I did. But at the end of the day, you are burning the beliefs and accepting the humility position of giving everything up that you formerly believed true, ultimately letting your ego go, to fully accept the mission that you have that is in front of you. Because the person that you are now is only going to keep getting more of what you already have. And if you hate your life right now, you're just going to keep getting more of it. So you have to realize that you need to change that, and you need to make the decision that you no longer want that anymore. And once you accept that, then that's when everything happens. And I know I'm kind of really sticking on this point for a good amount here, but it really is that. It's the decision. I had this 18-year-old the other day who was begging me on a live call, Devin, how do I get rich? Devin, tell me how to do it. Like, what's the secret? And I didn't know how to tell it to this kid other than over and over again, as enthusiastic as I could, as intentional and intense I could, as like explaining this. It really is, at the end of the day, is you need to accept it. You need to make the decision. It's not about making the perfect decision. It's about making a decision and making that decision right. Every person I listen to, every billionaire that I meet, every millionaire, they always talk about the biggest thing that made the biggest change in their life was the decision. And you'll know a lot of the life that you live now is from usually 1 to 2 to 3 different main decisions that you have. The end result that you have in your life usually is a culmination of the 5 biggest decisions that you make in your life. And it's not until you reflect that you realize those decisions. And so right now is one of those decisions. Cool. All right. You guys liking it so far? Sweet. So the next thing is understanding that there's going to be challenges. There's going to be resistance. There's going to be things holding you back. You're going to have your old habits. It's like if you're quitting alcohol, if you quit smoking, you're in that same place. You're driving your car where you used to like smoke all the time or vape, and you realize you're like, ooh, I'm craving it right now. And in that moment, you have a decision to kind of feed into that little bitch voice or that older version of yourself, that past self, or it is you, the person that is in the driver's seat, that is actually deciding, no, that's not me, that's not who I am, I don't smoke anymore, and relabeling themselves as somebody who just straight up doesn't smoke. And so what it requires for you is to have a new label. It's to have a new uniform. I met this man by the name of Todd Herman. He's the guy who invented alter egos. He's the man who helped people like Kobe Bryant and many different billionaires and many very successful athletes help develop what is known as their alter ego. Okay, so the camera died and we had to switch to a different setting. This is hopefully just as good of a background. So that being said, there's this guy named Todd Herman where he created this thing called the alter ego effect, where there was a scientific study that he discovered where they took a bunch of kids and had them take a test. You see, one group of kids, they had to take the test wearing a lab trench coat, basically what doctors wear. And then they had another group of kids taking the same exact test, but without a trench coat, just wearing their normal school clothes. And not only did they see an improvement of the kids that were wearing a trench coat, they saw a huge improvement. Like the kids that wore a trench coat, I think got like a full-on 30 or 40% average score that was higher than the kids who didn't wear the trench coat. And then, here's where it gets crazy, is they did the exact same test, but with adults. They had adults wear the trench coat, and then they had adults wear their normal clothes. And what they found is the same thing, the same results where the kids that took a test got results, the adults did as well. They saw the same improvement. And you see, the thing about our brains is we are very good at playing pretend. We were very good at it growing up. We never had to take any class on how to pretend. We didn't have to get trained on how to play pretend. We just played pretend because it was fun. It was something that was enjoyable. We'd wear a costume for Halloween, or we'd just wear a costume as a kid. And we get to portray as that character, whether it be Batman or Wonder Woman or whoever it may be. As a kid, we were able to play pretend. And you see, a lot of the people that are the most successful in this world are people that are just playing pretend. You see, this person that is recording this video right now isn't Devin Knupp. You see, Devin Knupp, isn't capable, or the person that's not recording this video, but the person, Devin, is not capable of doing any of the stuff that he does. He's really good at just having fun in life and having a great time, and he's not good at business. He doesn't know how to make money. He's not really any sort of successful business person, but in fact, he sucks at everything. He's just like just a cool person. He's cool to hang out with. But besides that, he doesn't really have any sort of personality or anything like that. And you'll see that the person that you see today is not Devin. It's an alter ego of myself. It is an identity that I have created that when the camera comes on, I am able to hit record and show up as them. And instead, I can pretend to be somebody who's really good at talking, at doing business deals, at whatever it is that I want that is going to get me into a place where I get to have a more successful life and a more successful career and get to do the things with the people I love and travel the world and enjoy my life and make millions of dollars, all comes from the version of myself, the alter ego that I have created that is good at all of those things. And you see, that is something that immediately you will see shift. And so it is a quick exercise actually on how to develop it. I mean, I guess it takes a little bit of planning, but once you are able to start creating this characteristic of who you want to be, night and day, you're able to see a huge shift. And so this is what is going on. We're going into the unknown world. And so because we're going on this unknown world, because we're going on an adventure, we need to become the adventurer. We need to put on our costume. We need to be the person where we identify as somebody else. And what's cool is then you can attach it to like an external object. So then with that external object, every time you put it on or every time you wear it, you're able to be that person. Every time you take it off, every time you take off the costume, then you can just go back to being your normal self. You can be a good husband. You can be a good wife. You can be a good friend. You can leave everything behind because you can take it out of your brain and forget about it because we're playing pretend. And what's crazy is you fake it till you make it. You play pretend until you actually are that person. You see, I played pretend being a rich guy. I played pretend being a business guy. I played pretend doing business deals. I played pretend being somebody who can make content. And as I played pretend, I got really good at it. I got really good at pretending until the outcome and the results were so much so that it couldn't be pretend anymore. So the trick is you have to ask yourself, who are some of the things, or what is the thing that you want to do, and what are the attributes of whether it be fictional or non-fictional, so alive or dead, or they could have been on a movie or a TV show that you love, that you can pretend to be. You see, most guys I had talked to this and have this conversation with in their 20s usually say Batman. You can choose Batman. I'll be honest, that one's like no shame in it whatsoever, but that's typically the default answer. Everyone's like, yeah, I want to be Batman. I want to be Bruce Wayne. And I challenge you to go find somebody that's like meaningful to you. Usually it's an easy answer from most people, but maybe it was a father figure, maybe it was an author that you read, maybe there was, The Great Gatsby, and you love watching those movies and those, and you reading the book, and you loved how Leonardo was in the role that he played. Whoever it is, you see, actors are really good at this, but we are actors as well. In our day-to-day lives, we can pretend to be anybody that we want to be, and immediately you will see a shift. Change will happen immediately. As corny as some of this stuff sounds, it will happen, the shift will happen immediately. And so it's once you decide, now that I'm on this adventure, who's the person that I need to be on this adventure? You see, most people, they have this issue where they see people that have the things that they want to have, and so they think they need to do the things to then be the person to then have the material items or the lifestyle or the beautiful wife or whatever it may be. But instead, what it is, and the secret is you need to be the person, do the things that that person does, and then have the things that that person has. Everybody has it twisted. Everybody has it backwards. And so as soon as you can start being the person that you want to be, then you can become successful. So you need to list out all the attributes. You see, and I found the best way to do it is to discover the antithesis of, you need to write out what's the opposite of the thing that's going to make you actually successful and actually rich. And so this is an exercise we're going to go through together. What are the things, the question is, what are the things that would make it so it's impossible for you to succeed over the next 3 months with whatever our goals are? What are the things that if we did these things, it would make us impossible to succeed? In a health perspective, it's pretty obvious. If we want to be ripped, we want to have a six-pack, we want to lose 20 pounds, the thing that's going to hold us from getting that and actually reverse our goals and make us get further from our goals is to eat a bunch of processed foods and overindulge, eat a lot of calories. And it is to have a very sedentary lifestyle, so to never go outside or to never have movement or to never burn calories. It is to not track your weight and to track your goals and to just guess all the time. It is to surround yourself by a bunch of fat people all the time and spend every single minute with them. It is to just totally forget about the thing that you set out to do and to feed into the little bitch voice that's just like, oh, you don't want to work out. You don't want to do these things. It's going to be hard. It's going to be tough. Very black and white obvious. What you got to do to stay fat. So all you need to do then in that case is to do the exact opposite of it. If you just do the opposite of the things that are going to make you fat, then you're going to get skinny. You're going to get shredded. You're going to get jacked. You're going to get stronger. You're going to have a six-pack. You're going to be ripped. The same exact thing applies to money. So when it comes to money, if you write out all the things or think of all the things that is going to keep you broke and then just avoid those things and avoid those attributes, then you're going to be okay. So there's a couple things. So on the actual things that you need to do, if you're somebody who works a job, you're probably not going to become rich anytime soon. So there you go. There's one. If you just stay in your job. The next thing, and not build anything on the side or try to work towards ownership. The next thing is to not listen to rich people all the time and to only listen to broke people. Obvious. Okay, the next one, surround yourself with broke people. Okay, cool. The next one is to not believe that you can actually become rich. Because if you don't even believe that you can become rich, then who's to say that you're going to make that happen, that you're going to become rich, that things are going to actually change? The likelihood is pretty much next to nothing. So it all stems from believing it's possible, deciding to get rich, and to stay away from broke people, and to go all in on studying and listening to rich people. So listening to every one of my videos and indoctrinating yourself into the psychology that I have and the thoughts that I have all the time, so that way you can be that way as well. And it's to talk and meet and listen to other successful business people. And if you can do that on a regular basis, it becomes easy. It becomes natural. Like the business decisions I make now these days, I don't try. I don't work hard. I don't try to do all these things to make decisions. Instead, I just focus on making sure that I'm the right person to make decisions. I'm in the best mental state to make decisions. I am the best version of myself and have the most amount of knowledge possible, and taking action, having the discipline, and having all the attributes of a successful person. Then the actual running the business is easy. Then doing the things that you need to do, making the decisions, starting the YouTube channel, making the videos, hiring the people, doing whatever it is that the task is easy. You can get it done in 5 minutes. You don't have to take like 3 days or 3 weeks to build a business. In the span of an hour, you can already have a YouTube channel set up. You can already have a bunch of job posts posted on Upwork of finding people to make the videos for you. You could have already done, a good amount of research on finding something that's already successful. You could be a lot further on the way of building a business than you did in the previous months, in the previous years, in the past decade. You can make more progress in the next day, in the next week, than you can in all of that. And that all stems from being intentional and focusing on doing the things that are the opposite of keeping you broke. And so another one would be like, okay, I'm trying to sit down and work, and then I have 50,000 things going on. You're watching this video and you're already, wanting to watch TikTok and Instagram. And instead deleting all those things, deleting the apps off of your phone. And in fact, in this video, I want you to comment down below that you guys deleted the apps. So I know that you guys are actually watching this video. Go delete TikTok, at least. At the minimum, go delete TikTok. And then what I recommend is, if you're going to use social media to make money, create another account where it's just purely business, and log out of all the other accounts. That way, if you want to log into the things that aren't charging you up, that isn't inspire you, so you don't have to unfollow all your friends, you have to do it on your computer or on a different device, your iPad, or something that's not your most accessible thing. You see, when I had a smoking addiction and I had a tough time quitting smoking, it was because it was too accessible. I could smoke it anywhere. I can do it in my car, whenever I was like at a restaurant. I could do it while I was working, and it was too accessible. The thing that made it easy to quit and not have any withdrawals was to not have it in my environment anymore, to get rid of it, to throw it all in the trash and not buy it anymore, and to even block my card from being able to spend money at these places. I didn't do that specifically, but that would probably be up the alley of doing that. And so you need to make it easy to not be distracted. That's it. If you just focus on making it so your life is boring, other than just when you need to do the work, then it becomes easy. Like right now, I have no distractions. I either want to play chess or I want to make videos and make content and build my business. That's it. Do I spend a lot of hours building my business? Some days. Most days, not really. It's just because when I do work, it's because I get it done immediately. I don't think about it. I don't really have to stress the work. I just go do the thing. Okay? So the main thing is to kind of rewind this a little bit. Is next you're going to face obstacles and challenges, and then it's just overcoming those obstacles and challenges and pretending to be the person that you need to be. And ultimately, you're going to reach the final boss, which is the actual change itself and returning with the elixir. You see, there is always the opposition that you must come against. There is always the Joker for Batman that he has to kill. There is always this bad guy that you have to defeat in order to come back to the normal world with the elixir, to go back into the day-to-day life, but you're richer, to have a bigger bank account, to have more cash flow coming in, to have the hot wife, to have the life and the things that you want to have, and to be taking care of your family, is yet to defeat the final boss. And so you realize that most movies, most stories, the final boss is usually, they're challenging. It's not like you face them once and you realize that you're just not there yet. And so what it is it's lots of relentless training. It's a pursuit of getting to the depths of why it is that you are doing this thing, What are the reasons why this is so important to you, regardless of the setbacks, regardless of the pushback, and the belief that you are the person capable of doing this? So there was a very dark psychological study that that was conducted on a bunch of rats. Again, this is really dark, but it's tells volumes about the belief systems that we have psychologically as ourselves, which is they took a group of rats and they put them in a pool, and they went to see how long it took for them to drown. You see, they would swim for about 15 minutes on average, and then they would start drowning. And then they took a second group of rats, where instead this time, once they were about to start drowning, they took them out of the water, and then they dried them off, gave some love to them, took them out of the water, they saved them, and then they put them right back in the water within like 5 minutes or so. Guess how long those rats swam for? They didn't swim for 30 minutes. They didn't swim for an hour. They didn't even swim for a whole day. They swam for 60 hours after that. Because they got saved once, they swam for 60 hours. Multiple days after the difference of they gave up 15 minutes. And it's all because they got saved once and they think that it can happen again. And so what I will tell you is that whatever setback that happened, whatever pushback that happened, let me validate it for you. That was a sign that you are heading in the right direction. Anytime things feel hard, that is where it is at. And most times we run away from that. We run, we get away from whatever doesn't feel good. But what I will tell you is all that pain is like that quote where it's men often suffer in, it's like men often live in lives of quiet desperation. And most of us, the pain that we are feeling is not physical. It's not actually happening. There's no actual pain. It just feels a lot. It feels heavy. The weight that we feel feels heavy. It feels like all the weight and all the pressure is on us. But in reality, in the grand scheme of things, it's nothing. Once you become rich, once you're making $10,000, $30,000, $100,000 a month, you look back on those times and you're just like, that was the admission. That was the ticket for change. And so over these next 3 months, what's going to happen is after a week, most people are going to give up. But you're different because we equipped you with the tools that are necessary. It's putting on the cape because you know the work that you need to do. You know the decisions that you need to make. You know the person that you need to become. But you don't. It's scary. You don't want to fail. You don't want to do the wrong thing. You don't want to let down the people that you love the most. You don't want to let down yourself. You don't want to find out that you're just not good enough. Because sadly, that's our ego talking. Our ego is telling us that we're not good enough and that we aren't the person that's able to actually go and accomplish these things. But if you can overcome that, if you can overcome that belief, if I can be the person that takes you out of the water, dries you up, tells you good job, you're doing great, and then puts you back into the water, you can go another 60 hours. And by the time in those next 60 hours, you're going to see something break. You're going to see something that's going to have that release that you're looking for. You're going to see the things that were once in your way, the resistance that you're having is going to break. And it's going to be in the smallest details. It's not going to be in all of a sudden you just made $1,000. It's not going to be in you just made $100,000. It's not going to be in you just bought a Ferrari or something crazy like that. Those are to come. But what it comes from is seeing that you're able to make a little bit of progress and recognizing that in the day. Because momentum starts with the little things. A huge avalanche starts from a sound wave. It starts from the littlest of impact that has all this built up kinetic energy that finally gets released. And it starts small and then it starts to come down. And as it comes on more and more snow comes along with it. And the avalanche becomes devastating. It destroys all of the trees. It wipes away the land. It clears rocks off the mountain. And that same exact thing is what you were looking for in your life, is for that break. But in the first time, it felt endless. You had no idea how long it was to go. And you didn't know when the change was actually going to happen. So I have an exercise for you guys. This is actually kind of interesting. And what's going to happen, I want you guys to participate. If you're driving, maybe you can come back and do this later. But no, you need to do it now. Okay. So I have an exercise for you. You're going to hold your breath. And I'm going to tell you when to stop. Okay. You're going to do like a deep breath in. And then you're going to hold it. Okay, I don't want you looking at the time of the video. It's going to ruin it, okay? I want you to hold your breath, and what we'll do is we'll do a countdown, okay? And then we're going to see if you can make it till the end of when I say stop, okay? We'll start in, all right, We'll start in 3, 2, 1. All right, breath in, and then hold it. Okay, and don't look at the time while you're doing this, while you're holding your breath. And I have an exact set time that I'm gonna do, I promise. Yeah, I have a set time that I'm gonna do. And I want you to see how it feels right now. How long holding your breath feels. How hard it feels. And if you keep holding your breath, that's pretty incredible. So keep going. It probably feels really challenging. And 5, 4, 3, 2. We'll do 5 more seconds actually. Teasing you guys. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, if you held your breath this entire time, it was about 40 seconds. So 40 seconds you held your breath. It really wasn't that long. And maybe some of you guys would give up 10, 20 seconds in. It wasn't that hard. But I didn't tell you how long you had to do it. I just told you to hold your breath until you give up. Most people are going to give up in 40 seconds. If I told you from the beginning that you just had to hold your breath for 40 seconds, could you do it? You'd be like, yeah, of course. It's not that long. But when you don't have the time and you don't know how long it's going to take, it feels really difficult. And so here's the secret to ridiculous amounts of success. If you made it to this point in the video, here it is. Here is what you're looking for. It is the studying of what it took for other people to become successful. And what it is hearing other people's heroes' journeys, because you're about to go on one yourself. And if you want to succeed in this hero's journey that you're about to go through and you're about to witness, then what you need to do, so that way you have the resilience, so that way you can face the challenge, so that way you can be the person that is actually going to make change in your life and actually transform and be inspired and not just do the work, but you're going to do everything you can in the day-to-day to make change, is to study other people's journeys and to study other people's stories. So listening to my story, listening to the billionaire story, listening to the kid who just made their first $10,000 online story, listening to lots of stories. And if you listen to lots of stories, what happens is you're recognizing the patterns of success. You're gonna notice not just after 1 story, after 2 stories, after 5 stories, but after 20 stories, 100 stories, 1,000 different stories that you are hearing, you're gonna realize that we're all the same. As I started off in this video, we are the same as the homeless person and we are the same as the billionaire. Is that because the patterns of success are very obvious versus the patterns of poverty and living a broke life and to live the same day on repeat over and over again and to even, have a downward spiral is at the end of the day a pattern. And so once you can recognize the pattern, you then start to be conscious of the patterns that you are facing. And once you become conscious of the different patterns that you are facing, you're then able to stop yourself from falling into those habits, from falling into those patterns. And you can start controlling the patterns that do serve the person that you want to become. You see, I don't really try that hard to eat healthy. It's very obvious to me that I need to not eat McDonald's and not eat chicken and waffles or Taco Bell or whatever garbage there is out there. If you live in California, In-N-Out, that one's really good. It's not that difficult to resist those urges. Why? Because it makes me slow. It makes me not productive. It makes me have a tough time of making progress on my business and to make lots of money and to grow things. Now, I'm not saying money is everything, but it makes it really difficult. And so I notice when I just eat healthier and I eat, more lean foods and I eat intentionally and I don't eat a bunch of carbs in the middle of the day with lots of crazy amounts of grease, then I'm more productive. Wow, that's crazy. And so a lot of these decisions are just from common sense, and it's just being awake and being intentional and realizing what are the things that make me richer and what are the things that keep me poorer. And it's having a conscious awareness of this. So I'm gonna give you guys another exercise that I have, which is to create a notes on your phone. Literally just go into the notes and you want to start tracking every 30 minutes of the day. So you just create, it's like a 30-minute tracker. We can all create this together. Just pull out your notes and then create what is known as the 30-minute tracker. I don't think it's gonna show up, but you guys know what I'm talking about. And what you'll do is every time of the day, so like 8 a.m., whatever time you wake up, then you'll do like 8:30, you'll do 9, and you'll just kind of go down the entire list of throughout the entire day, writing down what are the different times. And then what I want you to do is I want you to write down the activities that you did at that time. So then, and it doesn't matter, you don't need to make change on the first couple days or anything like that. But if you log this for 3 days, if you log this for a week, you can then look at everything that you did, and what you want to do is rate what dollar an hour you feel like that activity is worth. So if it's something that's building your business, is it like $100 an hour activity? Is it $1,000 an hour activity? Is it a $5 an hour activity? Or if you're playing video games, doing any stupid shit, if you're drinking, if you're wasting any time, I want you to put in like drinking, do like negative $1,000. If you're playing video games, do like negative $50, and just then create a negative for the amount of money that, let's say, that time theoretically is creating. Now, obviously, I know you didn't make direct money for every activity that you did, and then maybe you're working 8 hours at your job. You can write that all out as well. And then very quickly, you can see what your time is worth and where you're wasting your time, where you're wasting your energy, where the points are of your energy that is being just thrown out the window. And what is measured grows. So if you measure your success, if you measure the progress that you have, and you may have heard this already, but if you measure it, then you can improve it. If you're looking at yourself on the scale every single day, you can see how fat you're getting. You can see how much weight you're losing, and you know what's working and know what doesn't. You know the fastest way to lose weight is to measure your weight every single day. If you track your weight every day, but if you track it once a month, you're not going to see any change. If you're tracking it once a week, yeah, you might see some change, but not that much. Versus if you track it every single day, you can see exactly what makes you, even when you weigh more at what time of the day because of what you ate and what you drank and what fluids you have in your body. And so if you measure where your energy goes and where your time goes, then you can control it. Then you can notice yourself in the act when you desire to do something that gets you further away from your goals and stop it. You see, everything that you have that keeps you broke is a neurochemical reaction. As we were talking about earlier in this video about how we're just biological beings, everything that holds you back in life is a neurochemical reaction. It's dopamine or serotonin or cortisol firing into your brain or firing into your body, which then makes you feel the way that you are. And ultimately, most people are addicted to being broke. Most people are addicted to poverty. Most people are addicted to their repetitive, boring lives. And that's what makes them comfortable, is because they're addicted to it. It's the same as smoking. You guys are just all, smoking a pack of cigarettes a day if you're not living the life that you want to live. But instead of it actually being physical cigarette sticks, it is going and doing things that are meaningless. It's eating that hamburger that's going to make you want to sleep for the next day or two. It's drinking that beer. It's doing these things that are going to hold you back. Now, by all means, I love a good glass of wine, and I love a good hamburger sometimes, and I like to waste my time sometimes just for the fun of it. But that being said, if I need to change my life and I want to see change in the next 30 days, the next 60 days, the next 90 days, you need to eliminate those things. And we need to break those habits. We need to break the habit of you being yourself. And that's what I got. It's what we went through inside of this video as a little recap is you need to go through your hero's journey and you need to accept the adventure that you're going on. And so drop a I accept the adventure in the comments down below so we can see everybody who's accepted the adventure. So we know that you are serious about this and making a change. And it will be fun when we come back and look back on this video 3 months from now to see how far things have changed, and drop a comment once you've gone through those 3 months. So it's accepting the mission. I'm making this for you guys to actually see change in your life. I genuinely want that for you guys. And so that comes from you accepting the adventure. Okay? So first is accepting the adventure, dropping it in the comments down below. The second thing is to study heroes' journeys. Is to see other people and other stories that people are going through, and to define and to create your own costume, your own uniform, your own identity. And once we create this identity, that's when change is going to start. You're not going to see it in a month. You're not going to see it in 3 months. You're going to see it immediately. You're going to feel more productive, and you're not going to remember, by the way, you're not going to remember everything I told you inside of this video. But you will, however, my friend, remember how I made you feel. And that feeling is unshakable. That feeling that I help you create is something that you want to repeat over and over and over again. And the thing that is going to guide you as a light in the darkness, as I am right now in this setting, is that feeling. And anytime you get away from this feeling that you feel right now watching this video, all you need to do is to maybe rewatch this video and to course correct back to this feeling again. And if you can keep curating this feeling over and over and over again, you, my friend, can then start to actually change and to see change happen in mere moments in your life. You're gonna breathe differently. You're gonna feel differently. You're gonna stand. You're gonna sit up straighter. You're gonna feel everything different inside of your life, and that's how you know change is happening. And it's then not letting that little bitch voice of yourself like take over. It's not letting, you know, the poorer version that wants to stay broke and stay comfortable and stay at this shitty job or the shitty life that you're heading towards. It's not letting them speak up. Instead, leaning into the feeling that you feel right now as much as you humanly can, of feeling abundant, feeling like you can do whatever it is, being able to be whatever person that you want to be in this world, and actually accepting that. And that's what I got for you guys. Again, my goal inside of this channel is to genuinely help you guys change your lives. I want to see a year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, the insane amounts of comments from you guys actually changing your life and doing the incredible things like I myself have gone through. And I'm excited for you. I'm excited for the change you're going to see. I'm excited for the new beginnings, the new life that you are building for yourself. And it's going to be incredible. So anyways, we're trying to get to 100,000 subscribers on this channel, so make sure to subscribe if you haven't already and share this with a friend, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.